Hello, welcome back to my channel. It's almost August, and that only means one thing. It's GarbAugust time.
Trash won't pick it up. Take them lights away. Trash won't pick it up.
So I'm going to be doing the GarbAugust Truth or Dare tag today. Criminali was very kind enough to tag me in the first GarbAugust tag last year, and I repaid that kindness by completely forgetting to do the tag. So I've made huge effort to actually do it this year. And it's a great tag question, so I'm gonna get on with it. Number one, how would you personally describe trashy books? Okay, so I kind of have three major categories of what makes a trash book. Um, Number one would be uh, anything that is um, celebratory or just reveling in um, kind of your baser instinct. So anything that's like heavily titillation sex, anything that is has violence in it, but in a way that really celebrates violence or is glorifying violence as a means to solving problems. So things like your executioner books would definitely be that under that category. Usually, these books also have little to no kind of cultural ambitions, literary ambitions, cultural significance in some way, um, and their um, kind of societal, sociological kind of explanations are very basic. It's just mainly there to kind of fulfill a wish, a kind of wish fulfillment. So that's your first one, and you know your kind of your kind of spicy romance novels and stuff will come into that too. Um, the second category is one of quality. So just books that are just so badly written that they're just trash. So you kind of your Dan Brown stuff. I would put under that. Like there's nothing inherently trashy about the subject matter that Dan Brown writes his crime novels about, but the quality of writing it's just bad. And then the final one is trash by, I would call it trash by association. So basically, if you're a trash person and you write a book, your book's going to be trashy. Or if a book is written about you, your book is going to be trash. That book is going to be trashy, just by default, essentially. Um, so this is your Ben Shapiro, Dave Rubin, or any of the Trump family. So I have a non-fiction book about uh, it's called The Grifters Club. It's kind of about how the whole Trump presidency, which is the grift. Um, that's a trash book just because it's written about Trump. So yeah, that's my three main. That's my three categories of trash, and that's kind of generally what I think about it. Number two is what's the trashiest book you own? Um, it's a trashy book, but it's also an amazing book, and I think it's actually a gift given to me and my spouse. It's Bunny Yeager's Bouffant Beauties. I can't show you any of the inside. I was actually just gonna do this and age rate the uh, video to be 18 plus, but I didn't actually look at the YouTube terms and conditions to see if you could have nudity in uh, in even an 18 plus video. So I'm not even gonna bother. But you could imagine, especially if you're familiar with Bunny Yeager's work, you can imagine what's on the inside. And this is not only trash, but it is incredibly artistic. I don't know if anyone really shot a pin-up model shot like female figure as well as Bunny Yeager, and hugely influential on people like Diane Arbus. So trash can be trash can be socially important, culturally important. It can, yeah, sometimes hard to define, but this is, I think this definitely comes under category one romance in my book. It was made for titillation, um, and it celebrates that, and it really celebrates the female figure. You know, I guess part of the category one is anything that's kind of outside of um, the perceived kind of social norms of taste and decency. So I guess that also kind of changes a little bit too. Number three is, what is the trashiest situation you've ever been in? I have been in a lot of trashy situations. The one that really comes to mind um, is it does not make me look very favorable. It does not make me look like a nice person. But back in the days when I was a very big drinker, often I would often get pretty drunk on a Friday or Saturday night. I was out one time with a few buddies, and we're a favorite kind of independent club. And I was already a little bit drunk, and got talking to this very nice woman. Proceeded to get even more drunk as I was chatting her up and she was chatting me up. Um, One thing led to another. Went back to her place. I was at this point incredibly drunk. Um, we start to kind of get busy, I guess you could say. Um, and I proceed to throw up. And then I'm pretty much throwing up for the next half hour until I then just completely pass out. Until I am woken up by my boss calling me because it's Saturday morning. I went out on Friday night. It's Saturday morning, and I am due into work. And at this point, I am still drunk, still pretty drunk. And so, drunk me was thought this was a great idea to go into work. And she's like, what the hell are you doing? Like, you just spent like the night throwing up, passed out, and you're in no fit state to work. I'm like, no, I'm fine, I'm fine. So I just hightail out of there. I go to work. I don't even remember how well I worked. Um, she's texting me, being like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." So, despite all of that, still interested. Um, we are texting back and forth for the next week or so. We make plan to go on a date. I completely forget about the date, and instead I'm at band practice. I organize the band practice on the same day, um, and I play drums. So um, I had I after band practice I had all these missed calls and texts that I couldn't hear because obviously playing drums you can't hear anything else. Um, yeah, so like it was just like it was no, it was oh, it wasn't even like where are you? It was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I completely forgot about our date too, which was kind of hilarious. Um, so yeah, I kind of got away with that one too, but for some reason I then just ended up ghosting her, and I don't really know why. Can't remember why I just ended up ghosting her. I don't think I was in a very good place mentally at the time, but that was a completely dickish move of me, and I still feel really bad about it. Um, yeah, I can't remember her name, but she was you know very fun. I had a lot of fun in my uh, brief time that I spent with her, but I do feel very bad about that. And like I said, it doesn't make me look like a good person at all. Okay, the next one, I guess number four. Have you ever read a book so spicy that you ceased to be master of your domain? Or which book has the best smut scene you've ever read? I'm sure, I'm sure I've got a little hot and bothered under the covers, under the shirt collar. Sorry. Um, or maybe even under the covers. I don't know. After reading a book, I can't think of a specific book that made me, but yeah, I does every so often that I read something that it's quite effective. I can't think of the best smut scene you've ever read. Most smut scenes are terrible. It's very hard to um, write a sex scene that doesn't make you laugh out loud. Really, I don't know. Maybe it's the British person in me, but there's just something inherently funny about sex, and especially if you're reading about it. Um, it's number 5. They're not numbered, so I don't know why I'm saying number 5. Just the next question. Have you ever given or received a trashy book as a gift? If so, what was the book and their reaction? I've definitely given trashy books. Um, I believe one of the trashy books I gave Criminal actually made it into this year's GarbAugust announcement video. That was the blog. I think I even has the little pricing sticker on that I completely forgot to remove. Right in the middle of the cover too, so it's pretty hilarious. And I've definitely received trashy books. I think I got a few from my spouse about a month and a half ago now, probably. Um, Obviously, the only response ever to any gift that you ever get is only you can only say thank you. That was very thoughtful of you. I appreciate it. That's really the only response to someone giving you a gift. You should never be rude about someone giving you a gift. Um, I mean, obviously you can say you shouldn't have, and you know, really shouldn't have, but thank you anyway. But always be polite. It's the only way to receive a gift. And then the final question is: did you ever read trashy books from your parents' shelves as a kid? And I can definitely say no. My dad only really read non-fiction. Um, None of it was really that trashy or spicy. And the only kind of trash or spicy kind of stuff in the house we had was my mom's Mills and Boone romance novels, and I was just not the kind of kid who wanted to be reading romance novels. Um, so yeah, no. And then okay, the dares. I'm just gonna do them anyway. Um, Show your favorite book with a spicy cover. For some reason, I just love this cover. um, I think I particularly appreciate that it's the nudity is male. Is just it's male nudity. I believe this book is from the 1950s. Well, the Bantam edition is from 1953. The Milmaro first edition was 1951. I don't. I'm guessing the artwork is from the Bantam edition of 53. So I'm guessing this is 1953's version of the kind of ideal man, the aspiring male body. Um, he's ripped, but he's like ripped in a very kind of like I work for a living kind of ripped. It's not like a modern day kind of gym body of someone who probably sits at a desk all day, which most of the people that go to my gym um, that have the ripped bodies, I'm pretty sure they all have desk jobs, whereas I have a very physical job and my body is not ripped. My body looks more ripped in this way than the kind of like perfectly formed 6-pack kind of thing. Yeah, I love the. I love her outfit. It's like sexy, but it's also really not showing that much. Um, the gun that I know the drooping fag. It's just this is just a great cover. And what's the announcement? Trouble followed me. A brunette, a gun, and murder. It's perfect. Bandon did really good reprints as well, so it's always good fun. Next there, do, do. Gotta set this timer there. Next there is read out loud a trashy, spicy paragraph. So when I thought of this, the first thing that sprang to my mind was Basic Instinct, the novelization. Um, Mainly because the spice is actually the prologue. So yeah, the prologue, which I will read to you now. Music came from a gleaming CD player near the window in the bedroom. The volume turned low. Beyond the window, the city of San Francisco was waking to a rare, clear morning. There would be no famous San Francisco fog that day. On the bed, a big brass bed, lay Johnny Boz, a man of wealth, definitely, and also a man of taste, but taste good and bad. He liked art and music and casual luxury. His bad tastes were more destructive, potent drugs, a little bondage, and the wrong woman. The woman straddling his bare chest was beautiful. Her long blonde hair splashed across her bare shoulders, her perfect breasts falling like ripe fruit above his face, tantalizing, just out of reach of his hungry lips. The woman lowered her red mouth to his and kissed him hungrily, her tongue darting. He kissed back, sucking her tongue deep into his mouth. She raised his hands above his head and pinioned them. She pulled a white silk scarf from beneath the pillow and bound his wrists together, then tethered them to the brass headrail. He strained against his bonds, his eyes closed in ecstasy. She slid down his body and he entered her, sliding deep, her hips grinding down on him. He bucked, thrusting into her, stabbing, piercing profoundly into her body, feeling her full wet weight on him. They were caught in the moment, trapped by the searing power of narcotic sex. Eyes closed, she reared and then pounded down, her hips impaled on him, her back arched, her breasts high and firm. He felt his orgasm welling deep within, and he threw his head back, exposing his white throat, his mouth open in a silent scream, his eyes turning back in their sockets. In delicious torment, he tore and strained against the silk that bound his arms. Her moment had come. There was a slim flash of silver in her hand, a sliver of steel, sharp and deadly. Her right hand dropped fast and cruel, the weapon puncturing his pallid throat, now suddenly washed red with his blood. He convulsed, shot through with the pain of sudden, violent death and the overwhelming power of orgasm. Again and again her arm plunged to his throat, his chest, his lungs. The cream sheets turned red. He died, blowing body and soul into her. It's just such a great start to a book. It's also spicy yet deadly too. Just has a little bit of everything, and it's just a book you own but you wouldn't read in public. I don't really have much shame about what I read in public, but there is a category of books that I am not allowed to leave lying around the house or be reading in my spouse's presence. And it's generally this kind of thing. It's I have a few books on the Ku Klux Klan. Uh, so there's that one. There's the Ku Klux Klan in Canada, and I also have KKK, the Ku Klux Klan of the 1920s, the American political tradition. That's the second coming of the KKK. So basically, the most famous iteration of the KKK, but it was the second time around, and that's basically when the KKK was really baked itself into politics at the time. Had a bunch of people who were in the Democratic Party were also KKK members, and pretty high up in the KKK too. I think there was a Grand Dragon. I can't remember the stupid names that they have. I think maybe one was a Grand Dragon. Head of like campaign finance of the KKK or something was a Democratic. I can't remember if it was congressman or senator, but yeah, it was pretty bad in the 20s up until the Civil Rights Act in the 1960s. There was a lot of KKK members in politics, in national American politics. And then I guess more from that, there's books that I'm not even allowed in the house. So I basically don't have any um, any books on Hitler or the Nazi Party. I would be very interested in having them in the house, but I'd have to be very, very covert. In I basically have to just hide them, hide them all completely away. But very understandable reasons. Uh, but generally, as someone who's kind of had a pretty lifelong anti-fascist, um, not only stance, but I used to go to pretty much any anti-fascist rally and stuff. So I'm just very interested in reading and recognizing what is fascism, how it evolves. So yeah, you generally end up having a bunch of books that look like this. And then that's it. The only other dare was to show a clip of your first BookTube video. I'm going to do that if you want to go and see it. Very easy. Just hit on my channel and filter up um, date-wise to earliest, and it'll be right there. Um, I don't recommend it. It's not very good. Um, it's kind of funny actually, but it's not good. But yeah, so if you want it. So I think that's the tag for this year. And long may this be a tradition of me actually following through doing tags. I will leave you there. Have a great one, and see you on the other side.